welcome to this week's recap of everything, basically. It's been kind of a clusterfuck of a week, so we didn't really have time. We didn't have time to go over TNA and NXT like we usually do. And so we're just kind of rolling in with the Smackdown and Evolve, so we're going to have a lot to cover. We're going to try and do it as quickly as we can, but you know how we are, so... Anyway.
And there is a lot to cover towards the end.
Yeah.
I was going to let you all know there's been a lot of releases in WWE, and what's really weird is some of them are even ones that were literally on Evolve this week, and literally on NXT this week. And as of yesterday, right before Smackdown went live, they did like 14 releases. And some of them were on Evolve like Wednesday. Some of them were on NXT
Tuesday, yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, and they were... I thought we were getting ready to do a storyline, and I was like ready to bring it up. And I'm going to bring it up where it needs to go on NXT. But,
people have since been... I don't know why you're surprised. This is danger. Anyway... So yeah, but let's get started. We start off NXT.
Is that the one we're doing? Yeah, that's right. We gotta do that one first.
April 29th. Joe Hendry comes out there. He calls out Trick Williams. Says, you know, I know what you're trying to do. I see what you. Words are hard. I see what you're trying to do for what it is. So I'm just gonna get this over. I'm gonna say your name and make you appear. He says his name, but Trick Williams doesn't appear.
Dark shows up on the Titantron, if I remember right. He's like, I'm not here tonight.
I thought that was on TNA. No, that was on TNA. But yeah, because he calls him out on NXT, but he doesn't appear. Dark State does.
That's right, Dark State appears.
They appear in the crowd, lights go out again, they come back up, and they're just swarming him in the ring like a pack of fucking hyenas. They tear him apart. He gets the toss-assisted power slam, 2-2, and he gets laid the fuck out, essentially.
Yeah.
We do hear from Trick later in the night, but we'll get to that. But we cut to earlier today. Ava is backstage congratulating Io Sky on a WrestleMania win, welcoming her back to NXT, and it's all setting up a tag team match with Jordan Grace against Roxanne Perez and Julia.
And then we see Alexa King polishing his throne, literally his throne.
Because he's the king around here.
Yeah, he's something, alright.
He's something, alright. Then Carmen Petrovic is with Gigi Dolan and Tatum Paxley with Ashante. Adonis comes and tells her to stop messing with losers, that she's got a match tonight with Sol Ruca. Carmen's like, you know, you need to stop being so rude. So he apologizes to Gigi and Tatum and asks when the match is. Adonis says tonight, and Carmen gets upset, like, why didn't you tell me earlier so I'd have time to prepare? And Adonis rushes after her to talk with her. When you win tonight, we have a title match. So, yeah, apologies. We're using a what's the word I'm looking for? A review offline, so it doesn't have like word for word what they said. But
which is what we usually do, but like I said,
this week was a clusterfuck. We had a lot of.
So I apologize again for this week.
Yeah.
I kind of had to pull up reviews online because I didn't get the chance to break everything down like I normally try to do.
Yeah.
And kind of set everything up the way I normally try to do.
Yeah, because we've been resetting cameras and lights. We had doctor's appointments and lots of rain and stuff, so. Anyway.
But there's the puppy. There's our Cecil.
Oh, yeah, you little goober.
But anyway,
what is this about?
I don't know. Like I said,
we're just gonna. I don't know what that is, so we're just gonna go over that. We have Alexis King versus Ricky Sainz for the NXT North American Championship. Oh, right, for the title. I was like, I thought he already lost. But that was last week he lost his cup.
Ricky kind of starts with, laying, and Ricky, like I've said, we don't even have to go through all this.
Yeah.
Because, but Ricky is laying his ass, man.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, okay, understand this. Mr. Fake Beard over here.
He couldn't win the cup the normal way. That's why he changed the rules into just being a regular match.
But like I said, there is so much that even reading this, I know I don't want to do it, but it's like there's so many storylines here that are now just gone.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like I don't know, and people are blaming TKO for it. The company now running it that runs UFC and all that, they're blaming them for it. And I don't think it's that. We always have these cuts.
Yeah.
Last year we blamed it on McMahon, it's always blamed on somebody. And I don't think TKO.
I think it's just a part of the business, unfortunately, because they don't have the... Well...
And we are getting ready to do the draft, which means we are getting ready to move people up to the main roster.
Mm-hmm.
And another thing, some of the people I watch and stuff, I think they're trying to do away with women's tag teams. It's kind of what a lot of people have been saying. And hold on, I'm right, but when I explain this, it's even weirder. And I see their point. Or not, I don't see WWE's point. I see the point that everybody else is trying to make. They're more or less trying to find spots for women, like solo.
Okay.
So they're teaming them up as tag teams and getting rid of actual female tag teams.
That doesn't make any fucking sense.
I agree.
But
think about what we've had. We have literally right now Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez, who weren't even a real team to start. Now they are.
Yeah.
But then we had Becky and Lyra,
which was just, or Bayley and Lyra to start, which was just nonsense.
But when we get down to the thing, because I've already seen like 4 people that are just gone. Already within this little bit that we talked about, it's really weird.
Well, we'll get to that.
Like I said, Ricky's beating his ass through most of it.
Yeah.
He tornado DDT. Ricky Saints wins.
Yeah.
With a Rochambeau retaining the North American Championship. Yeah, I was right.
Yeah, nobody expected King to even...
Oh, he didn't have a chance.
No.
And then you got the calling backstage, basically strategizing.
Yeah.
How
to get this all... Oh, this was actually a phenomenal, in my opinion, phenomenal promo.
Oh, yeah, you really liked it.
And like I said, because here's the thing. I know that the Colleen, Sean Spears, they're supposed to be heels and everything, but he was just giving great life advice, honestly.
Yeah, and I wish I would have got a chance to get, like, everything he said.
Yeah.
We would probably pull it up. But...
Well, I remember him saying, like, he was talking to do you remember the woman's name in their group?
Izzy Dane.
Yeah, Izzy Dane. He was like, Izzy Dane, I'll be completely honest with you. The NXT women's roster is chock full of talent right now. So you need to find a way to make yourselves stand apart. And then to the tag team.
It's the washer. I heard something like...
Oh, okay, yeah.
I thought one of our device... Okay, here's the thing. We're going to say that who shall not be named. Starts with an A, ends with an A.
Alice. Anyway.
But, we're transferring everything over to her instead of Google.
Yeah.
And that's where we've been in the problem, and we're not used to not saying that, and especially watching wrestling and some like little words we've noticed, like sometimes if somebody says something like on the TV, they'll say something close to it, she'll pop off.
Yeah. But,
So that's why I was kind of like, wait a second, hold on, while you were talking. But anyway,
yeah, he was talking to the tag team. He was like, boys, Hank and Tank just became your new NXT tag team champions. You know, you gotta get like he was just giving great life advice. Honestly, I don't remember the exact words he said, but I was like, yeah, I'm down for it.
Yeah, and like I said, I really, really do apologize. We're just going to kind of go over a review online. I'm not going to try to do it word for word, but kind of go over it just because it has been a couple days. And
yeah, like I said, this week was hectic, so...
We just got cameras and lights and stuff today, so we were kind of trying to do those when we got up. But like I said, I apologize, it's been a mess.
We get a recap of Channing Stacks, Lorenza betraying Tony D'Angelo.
This storyline, none of them are gone, thank God. Except maybe Luca, but he hasn't been released officially. Mm-hmm. But there is a lot of talk that they're moving him to the main.
Luca?
Mm-hmm.
Huh. I would expect Tony before him, but
Tony, I think, is moving up too. I think they're leaving Stacks down there eventually is how I think it's running.
Yeah,
everything
as
I've
him
kind
being,
of heard
like, have him become, like, the new Don, essentially.
Of NXT, and Tony and Luca
that could be kind of cool.
And I want to see Riz go with him, but I don't know.
I don't know if she even really has, like, does she...
She has wrestled.
But not a lot, I assume. Yeah.
She's more of, and this is another thing I love about her, and I love about the D'Angelo family, since we've been watching at least. They're kind of like a face faction.
Mm-hmm.
But she's not afraid to trip somebody. Mm-hmm. Like, shit, I'm out.
I'm just here. I'm just.
And I love that. The faces are kind of now starting to do that.
Yeah.
Flip like, hey, y'all want to cheat?
Bet. Let's go for
cheat too.
Yeah.
And I love that.
I do too.
That all's fair in love and war and WWE.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
But we get back from commercial. Tony comes into the ring and he gets on the mic and he's talking like everyone can relate to betrayal in their lives, but he didn't expect it to come at Stand and Deliver. He expected to sit down with Stacks, have a serious man-to-man conversation with him, but not this. He'd give him the benefit of the doubt and made him think about when they were kids, and he always had his back when he'd pop off against bigger kids. That's what loyalty is. Stacks always had eyes on the big seat. And there were plenty of times where, D'Angelo was out, Stacks had to step up.
When we got locked up.
When he got hurt, Lorenzo stepped up and showed the world why he deserved it in the other boss. So we rewarded him. But at the same time, his impulsivity meant that Tony had to step up and why he's the Don and he makes the big decisions. Channing waited for the right moment when the whole world was watching and stuck that knife right in my back. He's going to pay for his sins because now the whole family is in disarray. Nobody has heard from Luca. Adriana is in hiding. Then security comes down and Stacks appear on the Tron at the bridge where they'd sometimes meet. And he says he's going to tell Tony exactly what he needs to hear. He's sick of taking his orders, and D'Angelo's been getting soft, making decisions that make people think, people like Dark State, that they can just be pushed around like they're nobodies.
Yeah.
So Stacks has to come and he has to take the reins himself and put Tony in his place. He knows him better than anyone else, and he knows he's shaken. He's losing more power every day, thinking to himself, what's next? Can I even trust my own family?
And he kind of does this, look back at, probably 6 of them standing there?
Yeah,
and they're all like...
Yeah, like the second rate, D'Angelo goons or whatever.
And they're like, we ain't got nothing.
Yeah, and, Stacks keeps going Tony, who can you even trust? And then the security they run up, they try to attack D'Angelo, but they're obviously just security, so they get tossed around like cannon fodder. And after he fends off the security guards, he says Stacks will have to... If Stacks wants his position as the Don of NXT, he's going to have to come and take it in the middle of this ring.
And then we just have Sol Ruca and Zara walking backstage.
Yeah.
And then Last Legend says they need to talk, or she's sitting there with Metaphor, which, again... It's so hard to bring this We're gonna get more into this later. Lash Legend says they need to talk in a metaphor, which is Noam Dar, Oreo Mensah, Jakara Jackson, and Lash Legend.
Yeah, and she
and
says...
basically, you get for the basic part of it, they're like, yeah, we're all doing great. Noam, you just came back. You won your cup back.
But a lot has changed.
You know, Lash is like, I'm gonna go solo. I'm gonna do what I need to do.
Mm-hmm.
And Jakara kind of was like, yeah, okay. And Oreo is like, I got it. And it's just...
Yeah,
I'm going to go ahead and say this. And we're going to bring this up later. 2, Jakara is now gone.
Mm-hmm.
And Oreo is gone. And Lash Legend and Noam Dar are the only 2 left. Which is really weird because I liked Lash Legend and Jakara Jackson.
Yeah, they were great. I mean, fuck, they were killing on NXT. They were killing it on TNA. They were going all over the place, killing it. So, I don't understand.
I don't know where that's coming, and that's why I said. And Lash Legend, I think, is great.
Yeah, Jakara Jackson's great too. So I don't...
I think they were a great women's tag team, but we'll get into that. And this match was actually really, really good.
Yeah, Carmen
Petrovic
versus Sol Ruca. Ooh!
And I mean, like, I'm not going to sit here, like I said, I'm not going to try to get plagiarism and all that, but I had to pull something up so we could kind of discuss this. Because I wanted to have at least a discussion.
Yeah.
But, not even the match. The match was great. But the match is not what made the match. Mm-hmm. It was what happened after the match. And Sol winds up winning
with the Soul Snatcher. And then Ashante Adonis, he gets in the ring and he starts bitching at Petrovic for losing. She's like, you know what? Screw you. Whips around and lays his ass out with a roundhouse kick. And, you know... He tries, I'm pretty sure he tries to get back up and, like, chase after her, and she's like, get off me.
Yeah, I mean, but then, Trick Williams makes his way in, and he's like, says Joe Hendry's name, but he doesn't come out.
Yeah, you know, he says Hendry better be glad that Dark State got to him first, because he doesn't belong here, but he can't lie. And he was a little bit out of character. Maybe even crashed out. But he felt better when he looked up his schedule and wiped his ass at TNA Rebellion. Or whipped his ass at TNA Rebellion. Why? That's why I was very confused. Anyway.
It says whipped.
Shut up.
It doesn't say wipe.
Do you know the English language?
The only language I know.
Exactly. So you know how dumb it is. Anyway. But he says, I'm moving on to bigger and better things. And I still want my NXT championship back from Oba Femi.
And then out comes Ava.
And she's like, Tricky, you don't seem to get it. I literally had to kick you out last week after you threw a hissy fit, after you broke a camera, and you still think that you're entitled to an NXT championship shot? That's not how it works, buddy. But she's like, you know what? He comes back. He's like, I'm the biggest star here, and he's the biggest star in TNA too. Ava's like, you know what? If you want another title shot, fine. But you're going to have to go to the back of the line. Take 24 steps back and go through 24 other men.
And that's when we get the...
Battle Royale.
Yeah, which we have the... No, I do not have the list.
We did. We showed it on Monday.
No, that's Evolve. Was that Evolve? No, that is NXT.
Evolve. Yeah, I was going to say.
Okay. And then, Julia...
Yeah, they're Julia and Roxanne are backstage together, and Julia says, you know what, Roxanne? You were right. Together, we're unstoppable.
And I don't know if I like that. Julia, I think... And I like Roxanne Perez. Don't get me wrong. Perez is great. Mm-hmm. But Julia, is on another level.
I'm
not saying she's as high as Stephanie Vakir, because we all know she's built different.
She is.
But I will be so excited in a sad way, I guess, if she moves up to the main roster.
I'm not excited. I know I keep saying it, but I feel like they're just going to get worse. And I don't mean that as in they're going to get worse. I mean that as in they're going to have to be made worse in order to not make all the other women on the main roster look like dog shit.
But,
Oba is interviewed backstage. He says, Chick Williams' complaints sound more and more like the cries of an overgrown child. But it doesn't matter if he fights him one more time or 1,000,000 more times. The title will stay on his shoulders. And then The Undertaker appears.
And I love this. Because he came out, 2 or 3 weeks ago?
At Stand and Deliver.
Was it? And
I believe so.
Oba, this is your yard.
Yeah. And he says, I've said it before, and I'm going to say it.
Can you go turn that off for me real quick?
Yeah.
But yeah, he's like, I said it before, I'm going to tell you again, this is your yard.
Person detected at back door.
Yeah, see, we got stuff set up now that cameras at our back door, stuff like that. So.
But the Undertaker's like, this is your yard for now. But
yeah, go ahead.
I got a few boys on LFG. They're gonna be coming for your title, and it was Shiloh Hill
and what's his name? Crap! Why can't I think of his name? The big black guy.
There was 3 of them. It was Shiloh Hill, the Monster.
They call him the Reaper, or that was his moniker last week. He's who I like him though. His Reaper thing, man, was great.
Oh, god damn it!
Why can't I think of his name?
Oh no, we're just gonna Google it. What the fuck? Oh. Sorry, our TV was going in and out. That's what we used to watch our stream. Anyway. No. Jasper Troy, that's it. And then I think the other one, was it Anthony Luke that was up there?
Yes.
Or was it
Chris Island? No, who's
I think it was one of the two. I think it was either Chris Island or Anthony Luke.
It might have been Anthony Luke.
Or was it Holyfield? No, it wasn't Holyfield. Anyway, if you haven't been watching LFG, it was three of the like top.
What LFG star showed up on NXT this last week? What LFG star showed up on NXT this week? Four days ago. Let's see if I can get the names.
I think it was Chris Island.
Here's the picture. Yeah, it's Island. I think that's Island in back behind. Isn't that Island? Or is that Anthony?
I don't know. I'm terrible with names.
Hold on, let me see if I can find the name.
But yeah, we
Shiloh Hill, Anthony Luke, and Jasper Troy. Yep. Anthony Luke.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't Anthony Luke the Maxine's?
I think so. Like I said, I'm terrible with names, so I don't really remember.
I think.
But anyway, we go on.
Who is Maxine Dupree dating? Anthony Luke, yeah.
Yeah.
I thought I was right.
Yep.
Because, we have 2 on there. What is it? Drake Moreau is dating Roxanne
Yes, and then
Anthony Luke is dating Maxine Dupree.
Yeah. But, he says, I got some boys on LFG coming to take your title, and Femi shakes his hand and says, I look forward to the challenge. Then we go on to Hank and Tank versus Josh Briggs and Yoshiki Inamura.
Amara.
Yeah.
Inamara.
And
yeah, this was actually really, really good.
Like I've said, NXT is just better.
So much better.
But, like I said, we're not going to go over it hand in hand, but, I mean, these some big, burly boys on both sides of the ring.
Oh, yeah.
Beating the hell out of each other. But Hank and Tank win with the assisted power slam on Josh Briggs, retaining their NXT championships. Then we have the No Quarter Catch crew talking about the Battle Royale backstage, and apparently it's got NXT, TNA, Evolved, and LFG talent in it.
Yeah,
so this is going to be a fantastic fight, especially because it's on NXT. If it was on the main roster, it might be okay. Anyway.
But then we have Tavion Heights and Charlie Dempsey, and they're backstage kind of, now because...
Well, no, it's Tavion Heights. He says Charlie Dempsey isn't with him right now because he's pissed that Miles Bourne tagged Javon Evans last week. Miles says it's time for them to break out, and he's going to be in the Battle Royal. Tavion is worried about what Charlie will think, but he wants in the Battle Royal too.
Yeah, and then...
the Dark State Twitter promo...
basically just them...
Basically them saying, we made Joe Hendry disappear.
Yeah. It was...
and then we got a vignette for the all-new, all-different Chase U, where Andre Chase unloads...
Oh, yeah. They have, Cal Dixon and Uriah Connors come in late.
Mm-hmm.
And, what is it, Charlie?
Yeah, he says, Charlie raises his hand, like, Professor, didn't you tell us all to be on time? And he's like, yeah, but also, fuck your questions!
Yeah, and just starts laying into him.
I don't know why, but I guess that's just his thing.
I don't know what that was. But,
like, that seems like the I don't know.
And then we have Sol Ruka and Zarya, and I loved this. But I'm telling you, I don't want to see it, but I see it. And I really, really don't want to see it because I absolutely love the two of them. But you have Sol Ruka and Zarya, they're talking backstage, and Kalani Jordan shows up, and she's like, congratulations on your win. Now let's talk about defending that title every week. And...
yeah, how she used to when she was champion, defended every week. And, Sol's like, if you want to if you have an issue, step up. And Jordan does, but Zarya steps up and says, she's not defending her title next week. And if you want to step up, Kalani, you're going to have to go through me first. And I loved it. But like I've said, maybe I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong, but I really get the feeling that Zarya is going to turn on Sol Ruka at some point.
I know, and I don't want it.
I don't either. They're a great tag team.
But then we get Hank and Tank backstage checking on Joe, and this was after the attack. And I just love it because they're like, we got your back.
Honk, honk.
And it was...
yeah. Like, we're gonna have your we're gonna have your back against Dark State, and so next week we have Hank and Tank and Joe Hendry versus Dark State. I assume was our main event.
I love it.
Can't
They're
wait.
Beautiful.
And then we get Julia and Roxanne coming out for their match against Io Sky and Jordan Grace.
And I'll tell you what, man. Io and Jordan, hell of a show, man.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it was absolutely beautiful. I mean, absolutely. Like I said, I love Jordan Grace. I think she's phenomenal. I didn't post it. I don't think I did. But there was a thing, it showed Jordan Grace and Jade Cargill side by side. I mean, they both got a lot of muscle. But you see how short Jordan Grace really is. But you gotta figure, Jade is pretty tall.
Yeah, Jade is like 6 foot, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, she's at least 6 foot.
So, I mean, Jordan Grace is probably like 5'6".
Yeah. But she's like, I don't like this comparison. But, Io Sky and Jordan Grace win.
With the diving moonsault from Sky on Roxanne Perez. And then we have Stephanie Vakir talking to Ava backstage about being ready to defend her title again. And Ava says it should be either Julia or Jordan Grace. And Stephanie starts to go, and she's like, no. I know what you're going to say. They're going to have a number 1 contenders match next week, and you'll fight the winner of that match.
She was like we've done said, she built different. She was like,
I'll take a both on.
Most.
I mean, fuck, Shirley took them on with Julia in a Fatal 4-Way and came out on top, so I mean, that's just a downgrade, honestly.
That's the thing, man. Stephanie does not care.
Mm-hmm. Oh. Like I said, she is the champion that I aspire to be.
And TNA, I you know what? Give me a second here. Give me a sec. I don't want to do this, but we're gonna do this anyway. Give me half a sec here.
Yeah, like I said, it was a hectic week, so we didn't have a lot of time to do our promos and the recaps and the yada 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 yada. So give us just one moment.
Would have been May 1st.
Yes.
I keep getting all these little pop-ups. Hold on. Alright. Copy link. I probably need this on my phone, don't I? Because you have it on your phone, but then I can't see it on here.
What are you trying to do?
Just trying to find a good breakdown of the show. So I got a breakdown, but it doesn't have. Let's see. I know who I like. Let's see. Would have been what one was it? The first?
Mm-hmm.
Because I guess they taped the second the same day, and I don't want to read that. Key matches and highlights. Okay, you know what? Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to copy link. And we're going to do this. So I can do this and just click into my brain. I can do this on here. Just give me half a second here. No, go back.
Hello?
Where? There. That's the best I think I can do.
It'll have to do.
At least they'll give us a quick rundown, because all I have is the matches and the winners.
Mm-hmm.
And this we can kind of go, oh yeah. So like I said, we watched them, but I didn't get a chance to really. But yeah, it kind of starts off with Joe Hendry.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and he's like, brings up what went down on NXT.
Yeah, how I got attacked by Dark State. and he calls out Trick Williams, and Williams comes up on the big screen and says, Trick Willie is not in the building. He's telling Hendry, someone very well may get hurt later in the evening.
And what did I say? He in the damn building.
Oh, yeah.
And right when he said it, I went, he in the damn building. Tafari.
What? Oh. But yeah, he
Go
said...
ahead, say what you normally piss off.
But yeah, Hendry's like, Trick, I thought you were better than this. I thought you were the man of the hour, showing up to every show, yada, yada, yada.
Yeah.
But Hendry tells the fans there will be live action tonight as he will join forces with the Hardys to take on Frank Kazarian and the TNA World Tag Team Champions, the Nemeth Brothers, in the main event of the evening.
And then we go backstage, and it's the Rascals talking.
Being interviewed by Gia Miller. Wentz is fired up since he's going to be challenging Moose for the TNA X Division Championship on tonight's show.
And you got to remember that he was in the match for the X Division title. And this is when they brought up, and I want to bring this up here. Mm-hmm. This is when they brought up, and you're still pissed off about it. But they said the same thing I said. Mm-hmm. It was a control issue.
It was them being fucking stupid issue.
He never had control of the title, therefore...
It was them being fucking stupid issue. Let me ask you a question. In the Royal Rumble, they say your feet have to touch the floor. If your feet touch the floor for half a second, then you go, huh! You're still fucking out. I know the Penta thing. We're not bringing that up.
I was going to say, we did have...
That was botched. We're talking actual storyline. Your feet touch the floor, you're out. They said you have to grab the title and your feet have to touch the floor. His feet touched the floor. That's it. Therefore, he should be the champion. Anyway.
But basically it boils down to Wentz has a match tonight, or...
Yeah. He said he pinned... Wentz said he pinned the X Division champion Moose during their tag team match.
Yep.
And he's going to do the same again tonight. And then the Rascals say, smoke him if you got him.
Because that's kind of their thing. If you've ever watched them, they're kind of... Smoke?
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's literally their entrance, is them hitting a bong. So.
Well, the sound effect, but yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm... Anyway. We then head back where Sami Callihan is talking with TNA Director of Authority, Santino Marella.
Oh, my screen froze.
Oh, you're fine. Mance Warner and Steph DeLander then show up. Callahan asks if Santana set him up for a Parent Trap ambush. Delander's like, I had to watch my husband get his ass brutalized, and then we had to miss Rebellion because of what you did to us. And Callahan's like, I missed Rebellion too, and they're basically like,
But the thing, what I thought was cool, he's like, but we have something. We have something no one else has.
Yeah. We had the most brutal, bloody, violent match in TNA history. So I might hate your guts. But they shake hands. So.
Which is kind of what Santino wanted anyway. Mm. So.
Yeah.
But they were basically like, let's just make this clear. We still don't like each other.
Yep. And then Mike Santana makes his way down to the ring for the first match of the night. And his opponent, Isaiah Moore, is already in the ring. I mean,
was this even worth talking about?
This is like a minute and a half match, maybe.
Yeah,
Santana wins.
He hits him once with a spin the block finisher on the ground. Like, again, I WWE reference here, but it was like the Miz with Aleister Black the first night he came out there. Mm-hmm. He got a black mass kick and.
Or no, what was the? It was the Jey Uso versus Austin Theory, was it?
And that one too.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was like blink, you miss it.
But yeah, after the match, Santana gets on the mic.
Yeah, exactly.
And he says, that he respects Hojan. He's going on to bigger and better things. He moved past Ali. He respects Joe Hendry. But now he's coming for him and his title.
Yeah.
And he says, I think it was his dad. They always taught him, the top. I reached the top of the mountain.
There's always another mountain.
Yeah, the top of one mountain is the bottom of another. So I'm gonna keep climbing. Yeah. And he's going after the TNA World Championship. And then we have TNA International Champion Steve Maclin making his way down to the ring. Before he can even reach the ring, though, he's blindsided and attacked from behind. Travis Williams and Jude.
The Northern Armory.
Yeah, the Northern Armory.
They beat him. They beat him up again.
Mm-hmm.
And then Eric Young comes down. He starts attacking him. They do the 3-on-1. And I really want somebody to come down and help him, and they just didn't. And
Exactly.
I was waiting for somebody to come down and help him.
No, I don't think he's gonna get any help. At least not now.
But they do the same thing they did at
Rebellion hung him up on the ropes, the steel chain. Then we head backstage, and Steve Maclin is rushing in, trying to get his hands
He keeps freezing.
on the Northern Armory. Santana Marella is like, you know what? No. We're gonna have you guys are done. Go home. You'll have a rematch 2 weeks from now. Or between the two.
Hold on.
Oh, next week you will have a rematch for the title. There, it's done, finished.
My screen keeps freezing.
You're fine. Then Zachary Wentz makes his way down to the ring for his championship shot against Moose. And, they're going at each other, locking up. Like I said, this is a pretty good match.
Yeah, it was. But, again, like I said, until it wasn't.
Yeah.
Because
Alicia Edwards gets involved.
Yeah. Oh my.
Because Wentz is about to go for his finisher, but she grabs his leg, which allows Moose to get his spear off, and he retains his X Division Championship.
Freezing.
And then we get, I know Sonia, you're a big fan of the TNA injury report.
I am.
Courtesy of Bioflex.
I don't know why I'm such a fan of it, but I wish they would do this in like WWE.
Yeah. Like I said, it's nice to know who's out for what reasons, and like I said, it makes it feel like things have consequences. They're not just, oh, they're gone. Oh, they're gone. Oh, we don't think about them anymore, So, I kind of like that.
But yeah, it doesn't give a report on what it is. I think we just got the little...
Yeah, it doesn't actually tell us. Then we go backstage where Gia Miller...
it will not load that page for nothing for me.
Well, let's just run through it then. Gia Miller is interviewing Mustafa Ali about what took place at Rebellion, but he just walks past. And then,
I can't. Yeah, it's not loading the page at all.
One of his little goon squads from the Great Hands is like, he's lost everything. He's at rock bottom, basically. And we move on.
Pull up at least maybe know the order.
Then Cody Deaner's music hits, and he makes his way down to the ring. He gets on the microphone and talks about how his TNA wrestling contract expires after midnight tonight.
Yeah, I liked this because this got really weird.
It did, yeah.
Because Santino, he's talking about, he loved TNA.
Yeah, if this is my last night, I'm glad that I've had all these fans. And Santino comes down and he's like, I don't have the power to renew your contract, but I do have the power to extend it just beyond Unbreakable?
Yeah, I believe.
Unbreakable, and you'll have a match there. And if you can win it, then I'll have a case to the board of directors to renew your contract.
And that is against... What did he not say? I don't think he said.
I think he did say... Maybe he didn't. But yeah,
Then Robert Stone and Victoria Crawford come out.
yeah.
And Victoria Crawford, I had to look it up, and I was pretty sure I knew who it was,
Keep going.
being a wrestling fan for as long as I've been. It was Alicia Fox from WWE, and that's her real name, is Victoria Crawford.
Mm-hmm.
And I still think she's a dumbass, because she still was kind of, flighty and weird, even doing this. But anyway,
Stone is talking about how Santino is under... How does he word
under
it?
review because he's incompetent in his management skills. And
and if he makes one slip up that he's going to take his spot or something.
And Victoria Crawford is his deputy.
Yeah. And, they don't even work for TNA. They're on Evolve.
Well, Victoria, as far as I know, is not involved with WWE at all.
Yeah.
She might be TNA now.
But
still, Robert Stone does Evolve. He's a commentator on Evolve, and that is the same Robert Stone.
Oh, he's a commentator? I thought he was one of the guys in the VIP.
He's a commentator.
Oh.
On Evolve.
Yeah, so it's very strange.
And then I actually liked this match. The Maggie Lee and Jody Threat, because I love Spitfire. I don't know why. I freaking love Spitfire. I think they're great.
Where's the what? Spitfire. Oh, well, we go backstage where Santina and Ariana Grace confront Robert Stone and Victoria Crawford.
Oh, yeah.
And then Tessa Blanchard shows up.
Oh, I cannot stand this dumbass.
And then she says it's about time for someone who respects her to call the shots like Robert Stone.
Again, I hate Tessa Blanchard.
God, I hope that doesn't
Okay, here's the thing. And I am not trying to be mean. I'm not trying to be negative towards anybody. But you have Charlotte Flair. And yes. And Charlotte Flair plays this entitled brat. But Tessa is a completely different breed when it comes to that, man.
Mm-hmm.
She like Charlotte like...
I mean, she like
Charlotte like 5.0.
She literally had to fight a jobber last week to make herself look good. So, I mean...
Yeah, I absolutely hate Tessa.
Anyway, this phone turns off way too fast. I'm going to change that. And then Chris Van Vliet is introduced and shown on the broadcast.
I don't know who that is.
I don't either. Maggie Lee makes her way down to the ring for the next match. And Jody Threat follows, and it's Spitfires, Jody Threat versus Maggie Lee.
Which, like I said, this was actually really good.
Mm-hmm.
I like Spitfire.
Oh, Spitfire's great.
They're kind of crazy and spunky and really, really cool and I don't know.
Yeah. But eventually Jody Threat from Spitfire wins the match.
And then I don't know what to think of this.
Yeah,
by Elegance.
I don't know. We go backstage where Maggie Lee is having a conversation with Ash and Heather, and they talk about, you know what the best way to get over a loss is? A makeover. So
and I'm gonna agree with you what you said.
Ash is gonna get kicked out.
No, Ash is the other one.
Heather? Yeah, Heather is gonna get kicked out.
Yeah.
And replaced by Maggie Lee.
Yeah, I totally see that.
And
then we get Indy Hartwell again.
Yeah. She makes her way out to the Address the Impact Zone. Says she's proud to be she's proud to be here. Proud to be on this roster. She's not just a TNA Knockout now. She's the TNA Knockout. Gia asks Hartwell if she's got her sights set on anyone in particular. She says she has history with many of them, but she vows not to just be another member of the roster. Promises to shake things up because she has officially crossed the line, and plugs her first TNA shirt.
Yeah.
Casey Navarro makes his way down to the ring for his next match.
With Leon Slater.
Yes.
And
this was an alright match.
it was alright. Like I said, I don't like First Class.
No.
I'm not a fan of them at all.
They're
I ain't
absolute
either.
pricks.
So, but Slater winds up winning.
Mm-hmm. Then we go back to the TNA Knockouts World Champion, Masha Slamovich. She cuts a promo and says she has no problem defending her title against Victoria Crawford at Under Siege.
Which I thought was actually really good.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the thing. Why? And it's Under Siege is the next one.
Mm.
Why are we having Victoria, who has not been wrestling, maybe she's been in the independents, but she hasn't been on TV, at least I know her, for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Why is she getting a title shot?
Who the fuck knows? Storylines.
Exactly.
But here's my problem. And I think I'm going to call bullshit before this happens, and it's right here. You can go back and look that I called this. I'm going to call bullshit because Victoria's going to win it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's crap because Masha Slamovich is way better than Victoria Crawford, a.k.a. Alicia Fox.
Exactly.
I mean, I wouldn't want to get into a fight with Masha Slamovich.
No.
I wouldn't either.
Fuck, like I said, she was ready to throw hands with,
Who was it? We were talking about it a couple weeks ago.
the guy who was going against Joe
Kazarian?
Hendry. Yeah, Kazarian. Because they were in that mixed tag team match, and
She pushed him or something, was like...
Yeah, like, come on, let's go. And the ref's like, no. Joe's got to get in the ring now. She's like, fuck that. I want to go at him.
Yep,
So-
give me a shot. I'll take my shot.
The Nemesis make their way down to the ring for the main event of the night. Frankie Kazarian follows. Then we have Joe Hendry and the Hardys.
And this was weird. I caught it. And I watched it in a lot of like the review stuff to actually hear it.
Mm-hmm.
Or like a lot of clips like online. I shouldn't say watched it, but there was a lot of clips online, like on my
YouTube.
not YouTube,
X. Yeah.
It was I believe in Joe Hendry and then I believe in the Hardys.
Mm-hmm.
And that was their like intro.
Yeah.
I thought it was really unique.
Mm-hmm.
I remember that. But this is a pretty good match. Lots of back and forth.
But like I said, again, okay, let me explain this. Ryan is a little panty waist bitch.
Yeah.
Nick Nemeth, Dolph Ziggler, WWE. I've always respected him. Maybe not thought he was one of the best.
But he's pretty
but
good.
He's good.
Yeah.
He at least a good mid-card level.
Yeah, he's at least a good C beat here, so I mean.
So, but the Hardys, they're past their prime. I understand that 100%. I mean, crap. Look at Jeff.
Mm-hmm.
He's had a rough life, and we're not even going to bring up everything.
Yeah.
That,
But still, I mean, shit, they're still great in that ring.
yeah. But I don't think the Nemesis are better.
No. But, you know, eventually we get all 6 men in the ring. Hendry hitting a fallaway slam on all 3 of the men on the opposing side. Then he hits a standing ovation on Nemeth. But then, out of nowhere, Trick Williams pulls Hendry out of the ring and attacks him.
Who could have seen that coming? Oh, wait.
Helen Keller.
Yeah, Helen Keller.
Then Nemeth hits the Danger Zone off Jeff Hardy for the win. And after the match, Kazarian and Nemeth celebrate and leave. Trick Williams is alone with Hendry in the ring and nails him with a trick shot finisher. Then he stands tall, and that's how we close the show off for the night. And now I can pull up the Evolve. Yeah.
One, which again, like I said, this is somebody.
We have a Kylie Ray promo to start the night off. She comes up, she says, so I'm going to be honest. This is a little hard for me to talk about, but I just want everyone to know what's really going on here. You see that teddy bear that Wendy Chu gave Zara Zacher last week? That's actually my son's teddy bear. Yeah. And it's been missing for weeks, and I have no idea how you got it. And maybe I'm a little bit sleep deprived when I say this because, you know, he's been up crying every single night. But let me be very clear when I say this. Wendy Chu, this has gone way too far, and this ends tonight.
And again, I hate these guys. I really do. Zeta Steele and Bryce
Donovan versus Layla Days with Aria Bennett.
I absolutely hate Swipe left.
Yeah. They're such fucking bitches. But I did enjoy how the night ended, though. That was pretty good.
What do they call Vanity Project? I was
Yeah.
trying to think what they're calling themselves.
This thing turns off way too fast.
You know you can change that.
I know, but I don't. I'll do it afterwards. Anyway. But yeah, I mean, this is
This was really good.
Yeah, like
I was
I've said,
impressed.
like I know we keep saying it, but the more I watch, because up until however long, like 3-4 months ago, I only watched Raw and SmackDown, and I was like, this shit's great, this is the best. And now we started watching NXT and TNA and even Evolve, and I'm like, why is the main roster not that good?
It is.
Exactly.
It's really sad, isn't it?
Because like we are literally
You're more excited for
NXT.
what is their next one? They got one.
Isn't it Unbreakable? I think NXT is Unbreakable, isn't it?
It might be.
I think so.
And then we are
Well, you
for
can ask.
Backlash.
Yeah.
Like we've literally said that. Like I'm more excited for the.
And here's the thing. Some of these matches that we're getting on Evolved, which is like the lowest of the low, not the lowest of the low, but like where the beginners go to show if they're capable of going up to the NXT, to the main roster. And yet we're getting some matches on Evolved that are better than some of the matches we get on the main roster. I don't
What is the next pay-per-view for NXT?
I think it's Unbreakable.
I think it is Unbreakable.
Vengeance Day. I thought that was.
Is that the right day?
No, that's on February 15th. I don't know what AI Google is trying to tell you. Hang on. What is NXT's next?
You want to do PLE?
Roadblock. I think. Yeah, March 11th.
Yeah. That I am more excited for that. No. It's May.
Oh, what? Fuck.
Go
damn it.
PLE. Go down on that. See what that says.
I'm pretty sure it's Unbreakable. Wait, no, it's
No,
not.
not that. That's the new. That's go all the way down. You're gonna have to.
Vengeance Day Elimination Chamber.
Roadblock. March 11th.
No.
No, go down. Hall of Fame. Okay, wait.
Stand and Deliver, Slam Your Wars, WrestleMania, Draft,
Yeah,
Backlash, Saturday Night Main Event.
Battleground.
Yeah. May 25th. Okay. That makes sense. So, yeah. I mean, what is that? Like 2 weeks after Backlash. But, yeah. I mean,
I am more excited for Battleground than I am.
Backlash, yeah. But anyway, like I said, this is an alright match. But Zeta Steele winds up picking up the win.
With a ZDT.
Yeah. Then we have Tyson Dupont and Tyreek Igwe. I'm butchering the last name. I apologize. Versus Aaron Roker and Freedom Ramsey. And like I said, like, these are all pretty solid matches.
Yeah, they were. And like I said, this match was. I'm not invested in any of these guys.
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna be honest with that. So I didn't tune out, but I didn't tune in either.
Yeah, it was just kind of there.
It was a good match,
but I didn't care either way.
Yeah,
so I wasn't like, ooh, that was really awesome, or
Yeah, but Tyson DuPont and Tyreek Igwe win.
Yep, and we find out the next week on Evolve we'll have a major announcement from Stevie Turner, and then we have Kylie Ray versus Wendy Chu.
And I actually liked this.
Yeah, this is a like
because
I said,
Wendy,
so...
your mom, when she was a face, loved her, and now she's kind of like dark, and I don't know if your mom would have liked her.
I feel like she would have.
But she's a little mean thing. Man.
Oh yeah, she is strange and mysterious and
like the match is going, and Wendy basically just she got Kylie off.
Yeah, like throughout the entire match.
Kylie's just off. She's like one move behind, if that makes sense.
And we could see that she's focused. She's more focused than she's ever been. You know, all the smiles and whatnot are gone, but it's like you said, it's just off. She's focused, but in the wrong way, and it winds up costing her. Because...
And then there's a point in the match towards the end in which Wendy grabs the teddy bear in the corner and like rips its head off, and Kylie loses it. Let's see if I can find this. Yeah, rips the teddy bear in half.
Yeah, Ray is pissed. She's hitting forearms. She hits the Lopez press. She gets into a ground and pound attack. Then she drops Chu with a rolling elbow, but she's distraught over the teddy bear. It's her son's. And then Chu makes Ray pass out with the dirt knife. And after the match, she uses a Sharpie to draw
the
frowny
face.
Yeah. So this isn't over.
The upside down smile is what they're saying. Her smile turned upside down.
Yeah, it's called a fucking frown, you dipshits. Anyway, but yeah, this is an interesting storyline. It's far from over, but I'm interested to see where it goes. Then we have a Callie Armstrong interview,
and it's just kind of like they're like I thought it was really weird because they weren't like in the wrestling area where he normally does, or even the VIP section. They were kind of like almost like away from everybody. Like sitting in two chairs, just kind of like a normal interview would be, and it's normally not how WWE runs their stuff.
Yeah, not involved anyway. But Chewy Martinez, Callie Armstrong, how you doing?
And Callie like, I'm doing good. How about you?
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Did you call it?
I called it.
I'm hearing a possible championship because of this.
Chewy, man. That's exciting. That's why we're here on Evolve. For championships. For bragging rights. I don't want nobody to be able to talk to me about nothing once I get that title. And best believe it's coming home with Kylie Armstrong. When I started to hear the rumors about this Evolve title, I moved all my other trophies aside. That's the past. This is the present. And that championship I'm about to win is the future.
This new chapter, this Evolve chapter, what does this look like for you in the WWE?
I think the name Evolve is perfect because that's what I'm doing with myself. Evolving. And it's been scary, to be honest, because the longer I'm here, the more matches I get, the more opportunities, these girls in that locker room better look out.
And what would it mean to you to be the first Evolved Women's Champion?
Being the first is one thing, right? But when you're the best, you want to hold that title.
Mm-hmm.
So I could be the example. Showing what that is doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where you're from, no matter where you grow up. I grew up on the streets of Inglewood, California, and I'm here. Holding the Evolve Championship belt, it shows promise. It shows purpose. It shows motivation. And I'm here to show y'all that it's possible.
The kids and the people who are watching this might be from situations like how we came up in. What's your advice to them?
My advice to all those kids out there is to dream big, think crazy, have somebody tell you have somebody tell you can't. Have somebody tell you that you don't make sense. Good. Then go do it, because anything is possible, and I'm living proof of that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm here every single day to go hard. So y'all better have somebody to put out this fire. Because I promise, once this fire keeps going, I'm burning this whole place down.
We're all proud of you. Thank you, Kelly Armstrong. Chewy Martinez, Evolve.
And then we have Hayes Jamson in the VIP section.
Yeah, and then we have the main event. And look, calling this a match is just disrespectful. This was not a match. This was a weightlifting competition.
Oh my God, that's right. I remember now. Like what I say? I said
they were fighting each other on how far they could throw another human body.
These two were competing.
Keanu Carver and Harlem Lewis versus Swipe Right with the Vanity Project. And
and what I say, these two are competing one-on-one, and the only losers Swipe Right.
Exactly. Here's the thing.
They were doing like presses, but they were like, okay, they were tagging each other in when they weren't supposed to.
Yeah, because here's the thing. Swipe Right, they're actually a functional tag team. They might be absolutely dog shit like
and
characters.
And these two hate each other.
Yeah.
Keanu Carver and Harlem Lewis.
They hate each other because they were like they even said. I think it was Harlem Lewis. They went, boom, like to tag in, and one of the announcers was like, that was more of a chop than a tag. But he tagged, like, they're just tossing Swipe Right around like
they're like lifting and throwing, and then the other one would come in and do the same thing, but only try to do better.
and then to finish it off, hang on, I know that they have the names of the move. Carver's fired up. He delivers the double pounce. Lewis tags himself in. Carver power slams Smoke. Lure connects with the boom slang to pick up the victory. And they both hit their finishers, and they are just staring each other like dead in the eyes as they both pin their opponents in the middle of the ring. And after the match, they start bickering in the middle of the ring. Gallus approaches Stevie Turner in the backstage area. They want to pick a fight with Lewis and Carver as they go off the air.
Again, gone.
You mean
Gallus, gone.
So then what the fuck was the point in all that? Damn, that sucks. Because those are some big boys. Like, they're not as big as Harlem Lewis and Keanu Carver, but I mean, those are some beefy motherfuckers. I was excited to see that match.
Gone.
That sucks.
And that's why I said, I don't know what this was.
I don't know, but we'll see. Now we go on to Smackdown in the Wells Fargo.
And we are an hour...
Hour 09, so...
We might actually make this in 2 hours.
But it's the Wells Fargo's Arena in Des Moines, Iowa.
And then we start off with LA Knight coming down the ring.
Well, we start backstage with Damian Priest getting into a shoving contest.
Right.
With Jacob Fatu and Solo Sikoa in the backstage.
Yeah,
And then LA Knight comes out
and
and
what
says...
was cool is Priest gets into a fight with Solo and Jacob. He slaps Jacob, if I remember right.
Yeah.
Slaps Jacob, and Knight comes walking in, and he just kind of looks at him and keeps right on walking.
And he comes out to the ring, grabs the mic, and says, "Let me talk to you. 1 week ago, I stepped right into this ring. Yeah! And I said I want my rematch for the U.S. Championship. Instead, what do I get? I get told, well, you're going to have a number 1 contenders match for the U.S. Championship. I would say, if nothing else, I deserve my rematch, but that's okay. I did what I needed to do. I came in and I had the match. But let's be honest, it didn't go my way. And why is that? Let's do a little bit of math. Why is that? Because right out here, Solo Sikoa decided to bring his pumpkin head looking ass out here, give me the spike, feeds me in, and then a little bit later, Jacob Fatu comes out here like this is his own personal jungle gym, bouncing and jumping all around. He's dropping moonsaults on everybody. But why was that able to happen? The reason that was able to happen was because a man who I have a match with a little bit later tonight, and that's Damian Priest. Damian Priest, I ain't got no problem with you, but you need to understand something. I know what you were doing. I understand. I know it had nothing to do with me. But at the same time, man, you need to pick your spots.
And then Priest comes out, and he's like, Knight, you're right. You and I, we don't have a problem. We're cool, man. And last week, that was all about Drew McIntyre. WrestleMania happened. No excuses. I was good with moving on. But he couldn't keep my name out of his mouth. And he mentioned my family. And I just came out here to shut his mouth.
Dude, look, I get all that. I had to chase dudes all around, beat them down. I know you want to knock your name out of his mouth. I get that. But you picked the wrong time. You picked my time. And I didn't win my number 1 contendership. You know, if I'm being honest, the bell rang because of you.
I disagree with you, man. Solo spiked you over there. So all I did was save you from getting Claymored and pinned 1, 2, 3.
My man, I don't want to dig too deep here, but I feel like you're living in the past. I feel like you're reliving WrestleMania. Just because you ate a Claymore, just because Drew pinned you and beat you, don't put that on me. You don't have any idea how that was going to come out. I could have caught him, BFT, right here. I'm just saying, don't let your failures be mine.
The way I see it, this whole thing, this whole situation is because you lost your championship at WrestleMania.
I don't need any reminders, my man. Look, I lost my championship. I get it. I understand that. But guess what? As soon as I lost that championship, I said, I'll tell you what, I'm going to come back. I'm going to fight for it the very next week. And then I'm not out here right now wrestling for this championship because of you. I can't say it any clearer.
This is the deal. All your frustrations, they're your fault. Maybe if your head wasn't up your ass at WrestleMania, you'd still be a champion.
My man, the whole idea here is we don't have a problem with each other, right? But I'm telling you right now, if you keep talking like that, you ain't going to worry about where the head's up. You're going to worry about me putting my foot up yours.
All right. We can do this back and forth for a minute. Our match is later on tonight. I don't see why we should wait. I don't see why they should wait. I'm saying we get a referee down here and we do this thing right now. Yeah.
Yeah! And then we have the match. And it was a great match. Until it wasn't. I mean, they're going back and forth, you know.
Because guess what happened?
The thing that Helen Keller could have seen coming?
Didn't we call as soon as the match started?
Solo runs, you know, he comes out, he runs Priest in the barricade, and then he goes into a grounded pound. He goes for the Samoan spike, but Priest gets in the way. Knight connects with the BFT. Knight bumps into Priest, and then Priest clears the announce table. Knight kicks Solo out of the ring. Jacob Fatu lands a suicide dive. Knight responds with a wrecking ball drop kick. And then Fatu with a Samoan drop onto the announce table. And then he nails Priest with a running hip attack against the barricade. And then he helps Solo up to his feet. And once again, this weirds me out. Why is Damian Priest the winner via disqualification? Why is this not a no contest? It's just weird to me because we were pointing that out for so long. There's no contest.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it's just weird to me that they've gone back to, oh no, Damian Priest won this via disqualification, even though they both got attacked. So I don't know. It's weird to me.
I don't know, but then it goes backstage to Byron Saxton, and he's interviewing Fraxium, and they're excited to face Pretty Deadly.
Yep.
They flip the face of NXT Tag Division,
Yep.
and they plan to do the same thing on the Blue brand. They liked watching the TLC match last week.
Yeah, they said that the Smackdown has the best tag team division in the world, and I'm sorry. Y'all are fucking stupid if you think that. We have what? 5? We have 5 tag teams. 5. That's it. And none of them are really... I'm not trying to throw smoke or hate or anything, but they're just okay.
Yep.
And like we said, I hope Fraxium brings them up here instead of Fraxium having to
come down. I really hope so too. But Pretty Deadly interrupts the conversation. Kid Wilson says it's good that Fraxium wants to compete against the best because SmackDown is the home for the best and most hungry tag team division in the world.
Pretty Deadly calls Fraxium debut trashy.
Tasty.
Tasty, I'm sorry. Very tasty, that's right.
Yeah.
Very tasty.
They're glad to have some extra European blood on the roster. They tell Fraxium to tone things down by 20%. Opportunities are earned, not handed out. And, they know how good Fraxium are, but they spoke to Nick Aldis, and they want to put that theory to the test. So Nathan Frazer tells Pretty Deadly to be careful of what they wish for. And, y'all should have been fucking careful, because y'all ate your own asses.
But then it cuts, or we go to the commercial, blah, 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 whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then when we start, we get the Fraxium Pretty Deadly.
And it's not even close. Don't get me wrong. Pretty Deadly they got a few good licks in, but I mean, it should... You know what really pisses me off? We saw how good Pretty Deadly was when they were going up against not the Street Profits. DIY. They were doing great. They were doing high flying. And they never went anywhere because their match was interrupted, and they never got another shot. And now they're just...
Fraxium needs to build them up.
I 100% agree, but I'm saying is we've seen bigger and better things from Pretty Deadly at the very least, and I feel like from all of these tag teams. And now I feel like we're just going to see... And don't get me wrong, Fraxium is great. They are 100% better than these tag teams. But we're going to see them just blow through them like they're nothing when they're not. They're not, like I said, they're not as good as Fraxium. Not at all am I saying that.
Exactly.
But we've seen Pretty Deadly be way better than this.
Mm-hmm.
And now they're just like jobbers, essentially, to throw in the way of Fraxium so they don't immediately get the titles. And it's just...
Exactly.
Why? Anyway.
I don't know, but Fraxium winds up winning.
Yeah, like I said, it's not close.
And again, I loved this. This was great. You have B-Fab backstage. Oh, no, this isn't one. This isn't the one.
Yeah, but we see B-Fab and Michin talking to Nick Aldis in his office. B-Fab has found a new source of motivation after seeing the Street Profits win their TLC match last week. They want to get their hands on championship gold as well. Michin knows that management gave Liv Morgan some time off to film that movie in Japan, but when she comes back, they want a shot at the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship. And then Chelsea Green...
This is the part I like.
And the Secret Purvis interrupt the conversation. And Chelsea looks like she just came back from a funeral. She's wearing all black, I don't know if it was a hat or a hood, but she's fully...
And then Chelsea is like, the locker room is so jealous of me. The ringleader, this is in that crooked Zelina Vega.
Yeah.
Chelsea's like, this is a textbook collusion and reminds Nick that it's not America and
that she's not from America. And Nick is like, and neither are you, and neither are your Secret Harvest. You know, Chelsea threatens to take Nick to the Supreme Court, and Nikki tells Chelsea that she won't be getting her rematch tonight. Zelina Vega will be facing Piper Niven. If Piper is successful, she'll be in line for a title shot, and then maybe Chelsea can become her Secret Harvest.
And then Chelsea is like,
no! And nearly faints, and Piper, it's beautiful. Oh my god, this is such a fucking... Nia comes down to the ring.
We're gonna
and
get
she
the
says,
same crap we've got.
And she's like, thanks guys, it sounds like y'all miss me. Well, that was a warm welcome, and I'm really happy that I'm back. But you see, while I was gone, and your champion, Tiffany Stratton, was running around here like a Barbie doll with her head cut off, I was at home getting refocused, regrouping, so I can come back here and take what is mine, the WWE Women's Championship.
Let me guess, Nia. And Tiffany comes out, and she's like, let me guess, Nia. You're going to say that you're going to annihilate me, and you're going to take my title. Newsflash, I'm not the same Tiffany Stratton that you used to bully around anymore. Cashing in on you was the best and greatest thing I've ever done in my career. And I will do it again. And I would do it again, sorry. And when I went toe-to-toe with you, was the greatest time of my life.
No, when I
went one-on-one with Charlotte Flair was the greatest time of my life. And when I beat her, and if I were ever looking locked up again, I'd beat you too. And if we ever locked up again, I'd beat you too, yeah.
And Nia's like, you offer me a rematch?
No. You should know. And you should have been here long enough to know that I don't make the matches around here. But I am certainly not shying away from a fight. I'll defend my title against you anytime, anywhere, any place.
And then fucking Naomi comes out for some goddamn reason. She's like, well, look at. You know, it's funny seeing the two of you fighting. Because I remember for months when I was trying to get the WWE Women's Championship from Nia, Tiffy, you always found a way to make sure you helped her out. You two made my life hell. And you say that you've changed? No, Tiffy, I've changed. I'm a new Naomi now. I am no longer the sweet Naomi, the good girl who stood behind Bianca and let Jade walk all over. I took matters in my own hands. I took out Jade, and I took my championship. Jade may have ruined everything I've been working for, but I am not done. Shut up! I'm not done going after gold. And not only will I push you onto a car, I'll push you under one.
And then Jade comes out.
Yeah, and she chases Naomi into the ring. Tiffy is fighting Nia. Jade is fighting Naomi.
And then Nick comes out. He's like, okay, ladies, let's settle down. If the four of you are so eager to fight, let's give Des Moines, Iowa a tag match. Let's give them Naomi and Nia Jax versus Jade Cargill and the champ, Tiffany Stratton. And let's do it tonight.
Mm-hmm. And then we cut backstage to Carmelo Hayes. He says, I'm tired of people disrespecting the Miz names and his legacy. You can't be making moments off a moment maker, right? Miz says that he's the pillar of this industry, just like Andre the Giant. This all comes down to respect. He built WWE with hard work, show-stealing performances. He's outlasted Next Big Things, Flavors of the Month, and so-called legends, you name it. Miz says that Aleister Black woke him up last week. Miz is ready to show everybody why he's a legend and why he stood in a company that Aleister only lasted 5 years in. Miz plans to make a statement at Aleister's expense.
Again, I'm going to bring this up. Two things on this. He woke him up. I think he's
knocked him out.
He's still dreaming.
Yeah.
2, Carmelo still has that stupid ass necklace around him.
It's so bad.
Like, I've heard of bling and Flavor Flav, but he like Flavor Flav on crack.
And it's so big, dude. It's like the size of my fist, if not bigger. And the sad thing is, You know that thing probably cost more than all three of us? Probably cost more than this trailer and everything inside of it put together.
Oh boy.
Anyway.
But I'm not even gonna go over this match because it was just bad. It wasn't bad, but it was bad.
Because, I mean, Aleister Black nearly takes Miz out in the first half second with that Black Mask kick, but Miz takes like 58 steps back into the corner.
Oh yeah. Like I said, I think he just ran 100 miles backwards. Because I mean, he didn't. I don't even think he took a step. I think he kind of stepped and flew backwards.
But I mean, yeah. Miz got a few licks off, but for the most part, Aleister was just whooping his ass. And of course, we end the night.
But there was even a couple points in which Miz is like on the ground, like, sorry.
Or the one time that Aleister catches his kick and Miz is like, I'm sorry, we can start over, whatever. And Aleister lets his leg down, and the Miz just kicks him in the gut, starts teeing off him, and Aleister hits him with one punch, and he's back on his ass.
And what I love about Black is when he's done fighting you and like you're laying there, he just sits.
Like he tosses Miz out of the ring and then just plops down in the middle of the ring. And then Miz runs back in, tries to kick him. Aleister, slams his head back against the mat, and then
and then just starts beating his ass again.
Yep. And I'm pretty sure we end with
the Black Mask.
The mask, yep. And then after the match, he has a little standoff with Carmelo Hayes. Like Carmelo gets in the ring, like sizing him up, and is like, "Yeah, I'm good actually," and then gets out because he knows he doesn't want that.
Mm-hmm.
Does anybody?
No.
And this, I don't know what this is, but
Santos Escobar backstage with Rey Fenix. He says that Rey's performance at WrestleMania 41 was a true embodiment of disappointment. Not only did he lose the biggest match of his career, but he also embarrassed the entire tradition of Lucha Libre by losing to a clown like El Grande Marcano. Rey Mysterio picked Phoenix to take place at WrestleMania, and he blew it. Santos is glad that Rey Mysterio is out of action, and he claims to be the man who replaces Rey's spot on the throne. He says that Phoenix should listen closely to what he has to say, but Phoenix tells Santos to shut up and stay out of his business. I don't trust you. If you have a problem with that, Phoenix has no problem seeing him in the ring tonight. And then we go on to
Zelina Vega with
versus Piper Niven with Chelsea Green Battle Fire.
It was not bad.
Yeah.
No, it was not.
But of course, it doesn't end how it ends properly, but it doesn't end properly.
It ended properly. It 100% ended properly.
Because Chelsea Green winds up costing Piper Nivens the match.
Well, Zelina gets Piper into the 619 position.
Mm-hmm.
Goes for the 619. Chelsea jumps up on the apron.
Mm-hmm.
And she's standing there arguing with her. Piper gets up and starts bolting. And Zelina just kind of like steps out of the way and
boom! Right into Chelsea. Chelsea goes flying back about 100 feet, lands on not the apron, the floor.
Yeah.
And then Zelina capitalizes and wins the match. So
I mean, like I said, with the jackknife cover.
Mm-hmm. Then we go backstage to take all this.
In this.
He sells Solo Sikoa and Jacob Fatu that Jacob will put his WWE United States Championship at Backlash in a fatal well, it starts off as a triple threat between him, Damian Priest, and LA Knight. And Solo's like, well, Drew McIntyre won the number 1 contenders match. He should have a shot at the title. And Nick's like, you know what? You're right. So there'll be a fatal 4-way for the title at Backlash. And Jacob's like,
I ain't got no problem. I'll dog walk their ass.
Yeah.
I'm all gas, no break.
Yep. And then Jacob walks away, and Solo's like, Nick, I see what you're trying to do. You're trying to screw Jacob out of his United States Championship. And Nick pats him on the shoulder and is like, no, Solo, you are.
And I was like, wow, absolutely beautiful.
Yep, it was great.
And, oh my god, I'm sorry, this is such, just, why? Why do we have to have a fucking Randy Orton promo? Why? What did it accomplish? What did it do? Nothing. Waste of time. He comes out, he says, I know we're 2 hours in, but Des Moines, welcome to Friday Night Smackdown. John Cena, while the world couldn't see him, I could. It took about 20 years for all of you to realize exactly what kind of man he is, but I knew from day one. And breaking away again, wasn't he literally out here blowing smoke up John's ass last week? Like, you know, you're a great guy. I know all those Make-A-Wish kids didn't mean nothing to you, yada yada. And I was like, oh, you suck. I've known since the beginning. Like, pick a lane, please, for the love of God. Anyway, he's arrogant, selfish. He's an entitled brat that gets whatever he wants. John Cena is the ultimate shiny new toy to play with by the ultimate puppet master. John, I gotta hand it to you, man. You're smart. You took advantage of the PG era. Oh boy, did you ever take advantage of the PG era. You were willing and, quite frankly, eager to be a real-life, walking, talking cartoon character, while I, on the other hand, did everything that I could to be true to who I am. He didn't care about the boys in the back. He didn't care about all of you. All that John Cena cared about, all he cares about is his bottom line, which has brought him fame. It brought him fortune. It has brought him right into the mainstream. It has enabled John Cena to make sure that every single month he has a brand new colored t-shirt come out on the merch stands, along with the headband, hat, neckband, wristband, armband, jorts. I mean, I think there's sneakers, dog tags, blah, blah, blah. I don't even feel like we need to go over this. This is just...
The little towels.
Yeah, the little towels.
Everything he can to squeeze his name. Everything he can to squeeze his name on.
Yeah.
He's going to put it on the merch stand. So all you kids go and grab him. He wants to make sure you love him more than you already do. But speaking of the kids, last week on Smackdown, John Cena said the reason why he never had kids, the reason why he never raised a family himself, was because he was too busy raising all of your kids. John, the only thing you've raised is the price of your merchandise, which the actual parents have to work double shifts and double to afford it at all.
You know, selling your soul isn't exactly a new concept, is it, John? You've been doing that for 20 years. Hustle, loyalty, and respect, am I right? Listen, I'll give you the hustle all day, but the loyalty, the respect, what happened to the loyalty and the respect, John? Let me be clear why I am asking specifically about the loyalty and the respect, because last week you stood in this ring, looked me dead in the eye and said you were going to erase the Orton name from the history books. You said, as you stood in this ring and looked me square in the eyes, that you were going to erase everything that my family did in this industry. And I'm going to tell you right now, you're not. You will not, over my dead freaking body. You say that you are the last real champion. Nah. John, you are the latest legend that I have to put down. And I'm going to do so a week from tomorrow. Saturday, Backlash, my hometown, in front of my wife, my family, my kids, my friends, in front of the future generations of Ortons, in front of the future Orton legacy. I'm going to punt kick you so hard that that Lego-shaped head is going to fly right off your shoulders and through the gateway arch. But not before I drop your ass with the 3 most dangerous letters in sports entertainment. RKO.
And then, I don't know what the purpose of these were.
I don't know. Nia Jax tells Naomi that she's going to put everything she said out there to the side. Her focus is on Two-Face Tiffany and getting back her WWE Women's Championship. And she says Naomi has to stay out of her way. And Naomi just does a little shoulder shrug. Randy Orton runs into R-Truth in the backstage arena. And Truth says, Randy, you have no chance against my child hero, John Cena, Backlash. And then Jimmy Uso walks, and Jimmy says, I'll talk, I got it.
What are you doing? Like, I got it.
He's like, you keep talking like that, Randy's gonna punt your heads off your shoulder. Truth says, John Cena's the last real champion, and I will always have his back. And
And as he kind of like, as it cuts, Jimmy's like, he just has this like befuddled like, he's just like, oh God, moment. Like, and again, it goes back. I know we bring it up every time Truth shows up, but he his own breed, man. Truth is his own breed.
He's special. But then we get to the 5th match of the night, Rey Fenix versus Santo Escobar. And this is a pretty good match.
This was probably my favorite match of the night.
Yeah. This was a great back and forth, high flying, great action, great back and forth. But Rey ends up winning. He nails Escobar with a goodbye amigo kick, and then with the flying Meteora,
yeah.
Meteora to pick up the victory. So Rey Fenix wins via pinfall. And then we have Byron Saxton backstage with Tiffany Stratton and Jade Cargill. They both bicker about the other need to stay out of their way.
Jade tells Tiffy that she's having the number one contenders match. She's having a number one contenders match with Nia Jax next week. Which I'm telling you what, we already know Jade can pick up Nia.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see, and we are on one side and you on the opposite side of this.
No.
Because I want Jade to win, which you agree.
Yeah.
But Tiffy, bye-bye.
No.
Yeah.
Tiffy, time over.
No. Tiffy retains.
It's time to put the title around Jade's waist.
Exactly. Yeah, Jade's 10 times better.
I disagree.
Okay, we'll see.
We're calling it right here. Calling it right here, buddy.
Yep.
Y'all have fun when you lose. Anyway.
Okay, we'll see.
But
because there's making talks right now online because
Tiffy points out that she nearly beat Jade last week, and she would have no problem doing it again. And then she's like, toodles, and walks away.
And then we get a recap of
I don't even give a shit.
of the tag team TLC match. I agree. Recaps are fucking stupid. But it was a great match.
It was. But then this was interesting because you get John Cena, or not, I'm looking at the bottom.
Yeah.
You get Andrade backstage talking to Santo Escobar, and he tells Santo, like, calm down.
Yeah, because he's back there screaming at...
Yeah, screaming at Legado del Fantasma, Las Garza.
And he says, I don't like the way that you're treating La Garza. Escobar always talks about legacy, respect, and honor. But he says that you don't have respect nor honor. And then Escobar storms off with Las Garza.
Well, Angel follows him.
Yeah, but...
Humberto doesn't.
Yeah, he stays back.
He stays back. He kind of like... Humberto's going to go first.
Oh, absolutely.
Humberto's going to join Andrade first.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Angel's going to come maybe a week or two later. But that might even be 2 tag teams there for a little bit.
Yeah, I could see that. Honestly?
Because he's been starting on Angel.
Mm-hmm. Another tag team would be nice.
Or not Angel, but he's been starting on Berto.
Mm-hmm. But we find out that John Cena will return to Smackdown next week in Dayton, Ohio. Plus, Damian Priest and LA Knight will battle Jacob Fatu and Solo Sikoa. And then we get, I believe this is the main event? Right? This is the main event? Right? Yeah? I'm not crazy?
Yeah.
Then we get Tiffany Stratton and Jade Cargill versus Nia Jax and Naomi. And this basically just starts off as 2 separate fights. Jade and Naomi, Tiffy and Nia.
And the thing is, they both go outside. Then let's see, who winds up in the match first?
It's Naomi and Jade that start the match off, I believe, and then Tiffy and Nia.
And again, this is just it's a good match. But
there's nothing. It was just good. There's nothing exceptional about it.
Yeah. But Tiffany Stratton and Jade win.
Mm-hmm. They get the pinfall. I mean, they were actually working pretty well as a tag team.
Yeah.
But yeah,
but
then
it's what happens after, because yeah, Jade slowly gives Tiffany back her title. Like she hands it, kind of like holds it for a second. Tiffany yanks it back, and because Jade even had it around her shoulder.
Yeah, she was like, "Oh yeah, here." So
and basically like, I'm coming for it. And then of course Naomi,
she attacks Cargill from behind. She does the modified code breaker, and then she posed with the title as the show goes off the air. It's probably gonna be a fatal 4-way. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
At the very least, a triple threat match.
Unless you want Cal to help me do it.
But then we get
like to, but yeah.
Then we get to the layoffs. We have Caden Carter, Katana Chance, Dakota Kai, Shayna Baszler, Braun Strowman, Cora Jade, Riley Osborne, Jakara Jackson, Wolfgang, Joe Kofi, Mark Kofi, Jay Coffey, Javier Bernal, Aura Mensei, and broadcast personality Ryan Popola have all been released.
I want you to look at some of these names.
Yeah, like Eddie Thorpe. Why?
Cora Jade.
Yeah.
Gigi Dolan.
I don't get it.
Dakota Kai. Caden Katana.
Yeah, I don't.
And Dallas is Wolfgang, Joe Coffey, and Mark Coffey.
Mm-hmm.
So they're gone.
Yeah, I don't get it.
But yeah, Jakara Jackson, the Oro Mensah, those were metaphor. The only ones left is Lash and nobody saw. That's his name.
Oh,
I don't know what I put there.
what are we looking at?
I don't know what the loss that changed CM Punk.
Yeah, I have no idea. Apparently a WWE icon could make a comeback at Backlash and shock John Cena after his match at the Premium Light event. The franchise player is scheduled to defend the undisputed WWE title against Randy Orton at the PLE May 10th. And then former undisputed WWE champion Cody Rhodes may return after Cena defeats Randy Orton on May 10th to attack Cena to confirm their rematch.
Oh, I did that twice.
Yeah.
Basically saying that Cody Rhodes could make a return.
Yeah.
Because he is scheduled to return soon. But we are going to cover a couple things on...
Oh, you just didn't put him in there. Okay.
Yeah, I didn't put him in there.
What the fuck is this? Is this...
That is the... Right after his announcement of his release.
Oh, this is Strowman just like...
Chilling next to the pool.
Yeah. Fair Fox?
Or in the hot tub, whatever it is.
I mean, man is probably set for life, even if he doesn't ever wrestle again. So, I mean, fair fucks to him. Then we have the another Backlash poster, this Fatal 4-Way for the United States Championship. Oh,
There's talks that SmackDown's going to go back to 2 hours.
I can see it, considering they're just throwing bullshit out there.
And there's been talk about it for a while, I've been putting in there, but it's starting to really, because they're talking maybe like June, early June, early to mid-June.
Yeah, going back down to 2 hours, cutting out all the filler shit. Because honestly, I do feel like SmackDown was better.
Yeah.
Like, by a big stretch.
Mm.
Better than Monday Night Raw, even before it went to 3 hours, so... I kind of want that. And then NXT talent, Danny Palmer is the latest
This was
talent to
just
will.
brought up like while I was like setting stuff, right before I came out here.
She says, thank you WWE for bringing me the love of my life. The past 3 years have been amazing. It's a bittersweet feeling to be officially closing out my athletic career, but I can truly say I went till the wheels were off. Literally, LOL. Our bodies are a gift, and mine has been so kind to me. I look forward to this next chapter. God's been giving me some big dreams with bringing my business back, and I couldn't be more stoked about it. Thank you all for the support. So, at least they're doing good. So. And then NXT star Nikita Lyons is heading to
Lions. Nikita Lyons
is heading to WWE Evolve.
And I like this. At least she's not gone.
Mm-hmm. Why was she on NXT?
Yes.
Yeah.
And they've not really had like big storylines for her. They've been talking about they want to push her. And I think this is for her to kind of work her way back.
Yeah. Get back in the groove of things.
Yeah.
Fair
so
enough. Fair enough.
I watched her when she was in WoW, which we just kind of really don't have time to watch.
Yeah.
I mean, we were gonna watch it, and then it was like, we really just don't have time. We covered just WWE stuff.
Yeah. We barely have time to do what we're doing as it is.
So.
But I'm glad that at least they're not getting rid of her, because I mean, they just got rid of like 14 people. Also, Eddie Thorpe, I genuinely don't understand. Like, he was just, like, going up against Trick Williams, like a big contender.
Mm-hmm.
I don't get it.
Well, look again. I'm Cora Jade.
Yeah.
She was just involved in the match at Stand and Deliver. Gigi Dolan.
Yeah. I don't understand that, but you know
Jakara Jackson.
Sachi has been moved to the alumni section of WWE's official roster site.
Okay, and here's why I brought this up. They have not announced her release yet. But
what is alumni?
Former.
Oh.
But they have not announced her release yet. She's hinted at it, but it has not made official. So
Well,
I wanted to bring that up. And I love Shotzi.
Yeah.
I talk about that a lot.
Yep.
And another good thing... And
she's a damn good wrestler.
And I hate to say this. I hate this.
Yeah, this is... Why? Why?
They want to set this up for SummerSlam.
Please don't.
And the thing is, I love Goldberg, okay? Or should I say I loved Goldberg 20 years ago.
Yeah, he's like, what, 50, 60 now?
You know,
hey,
Goldberg,
Google, how old is Goldberg?
Well, fuck that. Alexa, how old is Goldberg from WWE?
Bill Goldberg is 58 years old.
He does not need to be in that ring. Especially against Gunther.
Yeah, I don't want this match. I'm going to call this right now. I do not want it because Gunther is going to have to slow the pace down so much.
Yeah. I would rather, because, you know, they're saying that he's going to cost him the match against Pat Mac. I would rather see Pat get the ever-living shit beat out of him by Gunther than see Goldberg, of all people, come back and cost him the match. We don't need that.
Exactly.
There's many other superstars.
Yeah.
Current roster. That
Exactly.
I think would be way better to cost.
Yep. Exactly.
And I'm not going to sit here and try to name, but frick. I would even be, and you know what? I'm going to bring it up this way. How about this? Not even main roster. How about we throw Oba?
That would be a fight.
Now that I've said while we were watching NXT.
But you know what?
Yep.
I'm going to say it. It doesn't need to be a superstar. It needs to be Michael Cole.
Now that I would want, but then that's just going to turn into more crap with the announcers.
Maybe that's true, but I don't know. Anything but this, please.
Yeah, I agree, 100%. I don't want this.
Then we have Karrion Kross suffered a ruptured eardrum during his match against AJ Styles on April 15th, but he's able to have his eardrum repaired 2 days before competing at Josh Barnett's Bloodsport 13? Yeah, 13.
Which was right before Mania.
Mm-hmm. So I'm good for him. And then we have
that, and I just wanted to bring that. We didn't have to really show that, but I did post it on there. We were talking about it, or I'd seen stuff on it, and I haven't got a chance to watch it yet. But this was Cross's like full documentary.
Yeah, his documentary on his WrestleMania.
Yeah, week, whatever. But all right, sorry for the early start, and I wasn't sure if we were going to be able to get it done.
Yeah, all the kerfuffle.
And then this horrible week. But we haven't been able to do a lot of stuff we want to do.
Yeah, we were just really busy this week. But
yeah, so hopefully next week will be better.
Yeah, hopefully.
But I think that's about it from us. Unless you want to have anything you want to add. Okay. In that case, if you've made it this far in the stream, go ahead and give us a follow. If you're watching on YouTube, like, comment, share, subscribe. If you want to chat with us, go ahead and join us on Discord. If you want to help support us, press that big red button in the about and press that big red donate button in the About Me section. Words are hard. But that's about it from us, guys. I'm Safari.
I'm CK.
And I'm Knight Rider. Have a good night.
See ya.
See ya.